Hello and welcome. I'm Phil and I'm going to teach you how to make your own prison hooch. What are you going to need for starters? You're going to need fruits, fermented fruits, right? So we're going to take oranges and apples. Don't compare the two, okay? So I got about 8 of each. As you can see from the red bag here, these are the reduced price ones. So we actually do want oranges and apples that are overripe. Actually, it's gonna make it a lot more easier because it's a lot more mashable. You can get these for pennies on the dollar. They're really cheap when you go to your local supermarket, okay? Look for that reduced price section. Next, you need some sugar, okay? In order to make alcohol, we need to take sugar, we need to convert it with yeast and blah, 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 blah. All right, so you need to make sure you have some granulated sugar. If you're in the commissary, you can park that out, I don't know, whatever you wanna do. We're gonna need some active yeast. Again, if we were in penitentiary, we're gonna have to use some moldy bread. Fortunately for us, we're gonna make the craft version of Pruno, also known as prison wine. So I have active dry yeast. We're gonna have to do a proving period. I'm gonna walk you through how to do that. If you have active yeast, you don't have to do that. I will say, however, you need to make sure your yeast is at a temperature that it does not die, okay? Other than that, we have some raisins and we also have some fruit cocktail. Basically, our first step, we're gonna take all of our fruits, okay? We're gonna put it into a giant 1 gallon bag. We're gonna mash it up, okay? And then we're gonna put in a little bit of the ingredients to get our thing started. If that works out correctly, we will have a nice prison wine within 7 days. All right, what we're doing now is we're gonna take our fruits, we're gonna cut them into wedges, take the peels off, and we're gonna put them into one 1 gallon Ziploc bag. So, away we go. Next step in the equation is we need to beat our fruit to a pulp. Okay, this is pretty tough to do, considering that you have your Ziploc bag, right? Be careful, you don't want to puncture your bag. If you put a hole into it, that's a major problem. So let's get the air out first so we don't have any possible balloon punctures. And I just have the pestle from Mortar and Pestle. This is the benefit again of having ripe fruit. And the next part is we're gonna add that sugar. So we're gonna add 1 cup of sugar. That's all we're gonna do. And since I do have 2 bags here, we're gonna add a 1/2 cup to each bag because they seem to be about filled. That's one cup, all right? Or 1/2 cup, 1 cup?
1 cup.
Okay. And this fruit cocktail can I have here is actually 15 ounces. So I figure pretty close. I could take half of it, put in one bag, half of it in the other bag. So if you have a 15-ounce can, you can pretty much just use this if you're down and dirty looking for a substitute as far as measuring is concerned. All right, the next part in the prison wine is you need to activate your yeast. So if you have instant yeast, not a problem. However, we have active dry yeast. Still not a problem, but we're gonna do a little bit of a prep step. So we're gonna take 2 1/4 teaspoons. Why 2 1/4? That's equivalent to 1 packet of instant yeast. All right, so we're taking 2 1/4, pretty easy. Just take a little teaspoon guide here, right? Dump that bad boy in. There you go, right? Next we take our sugar. So what we're doing is we're priming our yeast, making sure that it's ready to like get up and go. We're awakening the yeast, if you will, right? So we're gonna take 3 teaspoons of just regular granulated sugar, not a problem. Put that in there, 2, and 3. All right, last step, we're gonna take 1 cup of warm water and we're just gonna put it in there. Now again, yeast is kind of finicky. You don't wanna get it too hot, otherwise you can kill your yeast. You don't wanna get it too cold, otherwise you can kill your yeast, right? So we're basically gonna put that warm water into that sugar, to that yeast, and hopefully the yeast will have the appropriate temperature that it can activate and start doing its job. So that's what we want, that warm water, and it'll attack that sugar. And then soon, within a couple minutes, hopefully, we'll start to see a little foam rise to the top. That foam is gonna be that the yeast is doing its work and it's ready to go. Once you see that foam start to form, we're gonna take that, we're gonna put it into our bags. All right, our next step is we're gonna submerge our bags of fruit, soon to be our prison hooch, for 15 minutes underneath warm water. Not scalding hot, not lukewarm, not cold, lukewarm. 15 minutes, set timer, then we'll come back to it. Cool. Whoa. You wish you got this much Pruno in prison. This is the craft version. Got raisins in there, apples, oranges, fruit cocktail, and then just yeast and water and sugar. There she is. So I put it through the strainer, but I still felt like there's a lot of juice left over, so we took a cheesecloth, put all the fruit in there, and then just give it a nice good squeeze, and you can see a lot of that delicious Pruno is coming out now. So this will give you the most bang for your buck. So if I were you, I would put through a strainer first, and then cheesecloth, double layered, and it's gonna filter out all the nasty stuff and leave you with the ambrosia of the prison system. All right, we've been patient for about 7 days. One thing I failed to mention is when you do have those bags and they're sitting there, make sure they're in a warm, consistent environment and that you have to burp the bag. It's gonna fill up with CO2. We gotta make sure we let that out, otherwise you're gonna have an explosion on your hands, which no one wants, trust me. So after that, we did our straining process, of course. I recommend chilling this before you consume it because it's a little pungent there. So let's give it a taste. It is alcoholic, so there you go. It's not gonna be the best thing you've ever had, but just try it out. Maybe you can do better than my recipe. But just see what you're coming up with. So cheers and enjoy yourselves out there.